I'm mimicking the crawl with the pod.
Oh my God!
It's so fancy.
I love it.
Hello, folks. This is CanonFire. We're doing 2 CanonFires in studio, which is weird. We're doubling our quota now, George.
I know.
I can't get you off me. You've grown on me
Well,
like
Jesus.
a wart. You've grown on me like a wart.
You can get those removed, man. Surgery.
Well, listen.
Laser
today,
surgery.
Today is a very special day. It is I, Adrian, the masterful dude of doodliness, the face that runs the place, fearless Hagrid, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Today is not my day. Today, George brought his own friend. Yes, George has friends, folks.
Oh God! Oh Jesus!
George, the Bone King.
Bone King.
So, George, why don't you introduce your friend here? You know him better than I do.
Alrighty, hi
even
everyone.
though we're already scissoring.
Yeah, no, you guys have already hit it off super well. Like the minute I was like, "What are you into, Marvel Comics?" See. I'm trying to like hype that up. But hi everyone, my name's George, otherwise known as Bone King. You can find me at Bone King TV on Twitch and YouTube. And today I brought a very special guest of mine that I've been talking about like for 3 episodes now, saying like, "Man, I wish I had Vinny here to talk about this shit."
He has. It's fucking annoying.
Really?
Jeez, well, when we mention Fallout, who do I talk to about Fallout, Vinny?
Yeah, I mean, I've been stuck on that Fallout Wiki page since like 2002. ever since Fallout 2 came out.
Everyone, this is Vinny. He is ever so leisurely. He is joining us here, giving us a very in-depth look at Star Wars and Fallout for someone who's been a longtime fan and in the trenches of that fan base.
Let me ask you something, Vinny. What do you like? Like, you like Star Wars, you like Fallout, you like Marvel Comics, but in that, what do you like? Like the subsections of it. Are you a Jedi guy? Old Republic?
Mandarin Mary Sue.
Well, when it comes to like Star Wars, I'm definitely leaning more towards the Old Republic Sith ways. Darth Revan was my favorite character. KOTOR I played numerous times ever since it came out for both PC and the original Xbox.
KOTOR is the last good Star Wars game. Don't fight me.
KOTOR 2 was amazing.
For those of you who are not Star Wars fans, KOTOR is Knights of the Old Republic. I feel like we should clarify.
Oh, yeah, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords, which talks about the in-depth of how technically the War of the Sith and the Jedi got started and the ramifications of one person has on the history of the galaxy.
Right, and vibro swords.
And vibro swords.
We
The
need
only
those
thing
vibro.
that can challenge lightsabers.
They vibrate so hard.
All right. So, Vinny, what do you like of Marvel?
I'm a huge. I was never so much of an X-Men fan. I was always leaning more towards like the street heroes, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. But
Oh, so you must be loving the Marvel Netflix shows.
I love Deadpool. Not Deadpool.
No, I like
Daredevil.
Deadpool too.
Right. Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones. I feel like had some issues, but overall, it's still an enjoyable series.
See, that's a whole show on its own because
Oh my God.
I have problems with Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Punisher, and I love the Punisher, but I think Jessica Jones is arguably the best show on the Marvel Netflix.
I don't know. I guess it's just
Like for 2 seasons, because Daredevil season 2, its first 4 episodes are great, and then Elektra comes in and it just goes to crap.
I don't know. It's just the weirdest choices they made with Elektra.
Right?
It's just I don't understand
guys.
why.
Guys, you guys are missing the best show, The Flash. Come on.
You mean Arrow?
Or Arrow. Exactly.
Arrow, the greatest Avenger of all time. Where was he in Infinity War?
Or Supergirl.
You know what? He probably got attacked by the Snap.
By the snap. What the hell is
I'm
that?
sorry, Thanos' Snap.
Oh, okay. I thought this was some STD I was unaware of. The snap.
That's how
It's
Arrow ended.
alternate from the clap, just in case you're wondering.
It's like the lower end cousins.
Funny as hell. It was the most horrible thing I could think of.
Wow, thank you.
I hate you.
Why?
That's so funny.
Why are you bringing DC? I'm having Marvel. I barely have Marvel on this show.
I know.
It was for a joke.
I mean,
Sorry.
the weirdest thing about Marvel is I kind of fell off the grid with Marvel Comics ever since they ended the Fantastic Four run. Because honestly, Hickman's run with the Fantastic Four is probably one of the best stories Marvel has written for the past like 10 years.
For sure. And then it led into Secret Wars, which was, oh my God.
The god fight between, Doctor Doom and Mr. Fantastic was super iconic, and it changed both characters for even more so Doom than Mr. Fantastic, who we still, haven't seen since for the last, 3 years?
And then Dan Slott is now going to write Fantastic Four and bring.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic has a character?
Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, and his 2 kids are currently traveling around recreating the multiverse since Doctor Doom kind of.
Did you see that Ultimate Universe came back?
Yeah.
Who wanted it back?
Nobody.
I don't know anybody that wanted the Ultimates
I mean,
back.
the Ultimates.
I feel so
originally-
bad for George.
No, I'm just
Before the show, I said you guys are gonna talk.
No.
and now it's just like we're doing.
Dude, I want this. This is great. This is showing that there's potential here for more talks, is what I'm getting at.
I loved when the Ultimates started out. I like their fresh new take on the heroes, and what inspired these heroes to be created was the Super Soldier Serum.
You know what sucks is that Ultimate Colossus is gay, and that was like one of the best characters they ever did. And then Ultimate X-Men just died off because Bendis is Bendis.
Bendis
Bendis is
what?
the worst.
He Bendis what?
Bendis is
Oh
the
my
worst.
God, I love you already.
Bendis is the worst writer ever. Like his story is just. He tried to be deep. He tried to have like meaning behind.
Whoa, a comic book writer trying to be deep? Hold on.
A comic book
It's
writer.
overdramatic.
Hold on. We're peaking a lot. But a comic book writer that trying to be deep, thinking they are Alan Moore when they have the writing talent of a Frank Miller.
I'm the goddamn Batman.
What are you, retarded?
But yeah, no, I can't wait for the
Crazy
Fantastic
Steve.
Four to come back. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
So a little bit of news, if you don't mind. This is also partly a news show aside from a talk show.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. We
I
tried
assume
out.
you've never heard us. Who listens to me? Anyway, hey James, and
Michael.
Michael,
Yeah.
and I forgot all my listeners.
You could say, "Hey George,"
All my-
'cause I know
all-
I will be later.
all my 3 listeners. Hi George.
Yeah, and maybe Chrissy. We've been talking about Resi. She may listen. Who knows?
She's not gonna give a
I
damn
actually
about
listened
this.
to your last podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hate it?
No, I liked it.
Which last one did you hear?
I don't remember. It was background noise.
Oh.
It's
Well,
all right.
that's about right. Hey, at least we're good enough for background noise.
Yeah.
Like I'll take that.
I'm always looking for something new to listen to while I work.
Well, what do you do?
I mainly work at the Office Depot. I'm the senior tech consultant. So
How much do you hate it?
I hate it so much.
Well, guys, we don't want him fired now. For anyone who's
It's
gonna
all right.
find the
Nobody
Canon
listens to
Fire.
this.
It's okay. It's
Nobody
okay.
knows his last
Actually,
name.
The funny thing about it, I mean, I'm not quoting where I work at or who my manager is, but they can't get rid of me.
Okay, so the news is currently, as you may know, Disney's been trying to buy Fox for like the past couple months.
Disney's trying to buy everything, but yeah.
Yes, Disney's trying to buy Fox, but a new challenger approach.
Comcast.
New challenge.
Comcast, exactly, my man. You know, so Disney gave them a bid of $56 billion
Oh my God.
for Fox. Meanwhile, Comcast came in with $65 billion.
These people have way too
But the
much
biggest
money.
difference
Sorry.
is that Disney's offering Fox not just the money, but also stocks.
Yeah.
Where Comcast is offering them pure cash.
Yeah, it's just
That's
100% liquidity.
And they're trying to buy Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, what
All
are
those
they
Fox
gaining with
aliens.
Fox? You know what I mean?
One thing. Well, 2.
Okay.
Fantastic Four
And X-Men.
and X-Men.
But I thought they were going to be introducing X-Men into the Marvel universe with another one.
movie rights.
It was when the deal was going through before Comcast jumped in and said, hey, a new challenger approaches.
Comcast, always good people. Let me tell you.
They're very selfish. But here's the thing now. Now, breaking news is that insiders report Comcast really only wants the Sky Network, which is the Sky Sports thing and all that. So they want the sports section of Fox, whereas Disney wants the TV and the movie rights of Fox.
Okay, so they're like splitting it up, I guess.
There might be a potential split up if they cannot agree. Like if Fox says, yeah, but I like the money here, but I like the stocks over there. So, you know, and the potential for stocks is way more than whatever cash money.
Now,
Especially with Disney.
But how does this relate to the fans? You know what I mean? Like, what
It
can this
all
ultimately
matters
mean?
who gets X-Men and who gets Fantastic Four. Because if Comcast gets them, most likely we're not seeing...
We'll never see him again.
Well, yeah, we'll see them in shitty movies, but we won't see them in the MCU. No, don't get
Comcast
me wrong.
exclusive.
I like the X-Men movies.
I like part of them.
That's a good way to say it.
Well, there's so many, and there's like
There's a
different
good chunk
kinds.
I like. There's a small chunk that's just like, I feel like it could have been improved on, especially with
Apocalypse.
Days of Future Past.
Oh, so we're
I
not.
like Days of Future
So we're not talking about X-Men 1, 2, and 3.
Who the hell cares about Bryan Singer? Get that piece of shit
Oh
out
my
of
god,
here.
he's the worst.
Guys
That-
brought it up.
That colorless, bland bastard.
he's so boring.
X-Men First Class is the best one because it actually provided color. It made the X-Men look like X-Men.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean by
Actually-
like making it actually more vibrant in the sense
Yeah.
of just not just neutral black and,
Yeah.
and
Apparently,
metallic
Bryan
colors.
Singer like left the set of Blade and said, "I want all my X-Men to look like Blade with black leather and
The
everything."
funny thing about you said that is that my most favorite choice Bryan Singer ever made about the original X-Men trilogy was the choice to make Kelsey Grammer Beast.
Yeah, he was hot as fuck.
I mean, sure, but he was a really good Beast. He was a diplomat, and he was also a fighter too. But mostly, he was like a more adult version of the X-Men himself, Beast, which went through so many changes from being a person with giant hands and feet to a gorilla to like a cat for long periods of time. Then we got
Yeah,
Dark Beast.
especially when Whedon was writing Astonishing X-Men.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big cat days.
I have to say though, 'cause I like Kelsey Grammer's Beast way more because the Beast in First Class and in Apocalypse, they just kind of don't adhere to his rules.
Yeah,
They're just
he's
like,
just a
yeah, well,
scrawny
I
kid."
could be Beast when I need to. I have this medication that turns it off.
That was
That-
actually an original
what
thing.
the hell?
That's
That's
also
an actual original thing from the X-Men.
That's super lame and
where
defeats
he
the
had
purpose of his
he had
character,
a pill
like
where it
accepting
makes
his
him
identity.
Beast.
Yeah.
That was an actual thing in the early X-Men. And then
It's a callback.
Then
But is it that he becomes Beast after taking the pill, or
no,
the opposite?
No, well, he already had the abilities of Beast
Okay.
with athleticism, the strength, and stuff like that. But the Beast just makes him more animal-like and
Feral.
Feral, yeah.
All right.
And then over time, he constantly kept taking it, and then he ended up being stuck that way. He was originally gray, then he turned blue.
You know, changes.
I mean, I can name so many characters in Marvel that turned from gray to a different color. Hulk, Beast. Just name two.
Great.
Gray.
So, I wanted to ask also, George,
Me? Okay.
how'd you guys meet?
Oh man, Jesus.
It was like 10 years ago in high school.
Did we meet prior?
What
to-
high school?
No, because I lived in New York and before high school.
No, I was saying, did we meet prior to the West Broward slip and slide, or was that
No, that was Cypress Bay slip and slide.
Cypress Bay slip and slide?
annex.
Did we meet before that or after?
I think we were hanging around the same crowd, but we didn't start clicking until after the slip and slide.
Yeah, so it was like we went to high school. The first year of high school, our freshman year, was at the annex, the Cypress Bay annex, because West Broward hadn't been built yet. So like they just kind of corralled us over to this camp,
cattle.
and we're just there and whatever. But I remember being told from a friend of mine that there was this kid who did some crazy stuff on YouTube, and he did some crazy stuff in the courtyard and then posted it onto YouTube. And I'm watching it, and it's a video of this guy. It was raining the day before, right? So the courtyard was just giant puddles everywhere, and this guy just runs in and just dives in there and does a slip and slide, like a standard freaking backyard yellow slide thing, and he just like collapses into the water getting everywhere. He's soaking wet. I'm like, whoa, that guy's crazy. Little did I know that this guy would actually be one of my best friends for like my entire life. So that was Vinny.
We have a lot of memories, a lot of history. It was during around my Johnny Knoxville phase. I always thought Jackass and Johnny Knoxville were like cool people doing these crazy stunts and stuff like that.
That was my childhood.
Exactly, and obviously
probably why I have,
had
like,
that mindset.
concussions and
I
shit.
want to do something stupid, and obviously that's how we met.
I respected it so much that I had to know who he was.
All right, and we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Okay.
And there came a day unlike any other, when the world's two most talkative show hosts came together to take on topics that no single show host could handle alone. On that day, Capes and Co-Hosts was born.
Oh, man, that is old. Sorry, that's from my old show.
I was
Really?
gonna say capes and what now?
That was my old show. Little shout out to Garrett, James, Ricky, my boys.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've had relationships before you, George.
I fight around.
But the reason why I use that is because we're going to talk about the state of Marvel Comics, Vinny and I.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be a little personal, George.
I thought
so-
we were doing
But
that.
if you have questions and opinions, let us know.
I thought we were doing that this whole
My
time.
favorite thing is answering these questions.
No. He's more up to date than I am. I don't read Marvel simply
Eh.
because Marvel's, in my opinion, currently trash.
He's not fully wrong. He's not fully right
He's
either.
not fully wrong.
No, because you know
Okay.
there's like really good quality when it comes to street levels.
Okay.
But their Avengers titles are pretty god awful. thankfully Bendis left, and he's now writing my man Superman. Which bothers me to no end.
I'm
But,
so sorry.
Yeah, yes. So am I.
Can't wait for him to wake up in the future, Mad Max style.
Wait till his,
Yeah.
his,
Santa
his
Claus.
sidekick becomes the Winter Soldier Part 2. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
Wait. What if Superman just wakes up and he sees Crypto there with like fake arm, like a fake metal arm or something
God.
from a Kryptonian science,
we need
and Crypto, who the hell is who the hell is Crypto?
I'm the Summer Soldier.
I'm the good
Jesus.
boy.
Oh God.
I am the goodest boy there
Crypto
was.
Bucky.
He's so
Okay,
edgy.
so tell me right now,
Right now.
in Marvel, who is the best writer you feel in Marvel right now?
Bendis, hands down.
He left.
He left so long ago. I think his last story was Spider-Man, was it? I think. It was Miles.
Miles.
Morales. Yeah.
Miles.
Because
Do you like Miles?
I don't mind Miles at all, actually.
Is he your favorite Spider?
I'm old school Peter guy. Like not
Respect.
not even like the corporate Peter Parker that we recently seen with
Oh,
Parker
after
Industries.
Superior?
I like the teenage Peter Parker who's still under Tony Stark's wing somewhat. And honestly, I feel like Peter Parker is becoming the new Tony Stark, even though Parker Industries recently went completely.
Under, yeah.
And
Parker
he sold
Industries.
the Fantastic Four building.
Well, no one was using it.
Yeah, I mean the whole family is out in space doing, God knows what, and Doctor Doom.
Literally, God knows what.
Literally.
What?
And Doctor
Okay.
Doom is the new Iron Man.
Oh boy.
He's not the only Iron Man because we
No.
also have Ironheart.
Well, she's not a man, so.
Okay.
That is true. He got
Right,
you there.
though. He's
And
gotcha
honestly, the
question.
Champions book with Ironheart, the new Hulk, Amadeus Chow, and the new Nova is actually a not bad reading with Miles Morales. It's a good team book.
Well, actually, we were talking about it on the previous podcast. He was saying that some people felt as though Ironheart, like the character, that they're kind of being forced to like her and that she's able to sort of do everything that Tony Stark can. And I kind of said that she has her own faults, but there's a superpower for being smart, and Tony Stark is not like the only one who does that.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
of
I mean?
course. I mean,
So-
Marvel Comics is riddled with these scientist characters because the main thing about what I like about Marvel is that they're like Cold War era heroes. It's like what science has gone wrong. For example, we got the Hulk with gamma radiation. We got Tony Stark with weaponizing.
Fantastic Four with cosmic rays.
From,
Oh my
Exactly.
God, I never noticed that
They're,
theme.
they're
Wow.
all Cold War. When they came out, it was the 60s, especially when Fantastic Four came out in 1960, where Marvel Comics first started out.
Yeah, right before that it was Timely.
Yeah, with Namor, the Submariner, and Captain
The original
America.
Human Torch, which was an android.
Jim Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, what part of Captain America's story is an allegory for World War?
Well,
Shit,
when it
never
was-
mind.
When it was Timely Comics, it was more World War II based characters, the invaders and fighting, Nazis, Red Skull, the original Zemo.
Zemo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a villain?
Yeah. That's
the most,
actually one of
like,
the bigger
non-threatening one.
Captain America villains.
I'm going to say this right now. You tell me. Baron Zemo in Civil War is the second best MCU villain.
You're right.
Because for me, Thanos is one.
I feel like with Thanos, they could still be a little bit improved on, but I
Are you kidding
agree.
me?
With,
Infinity War was great.
I liked Infinity War a lot, and I kind of wish it was on a bigger scope than it was.
I really wish they would have told me that it was going to be a part one.
I mean, you didn't know
Like,
that?
going into
They
it.
announced that way beforehand.
But dude, does it say part one on that damn title?
Does it have to?
Yeah.
Use your imagination, George.
Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows, part one. Twilight, Breaking Dawn,
But
part
I
one.
like Zemo a lot as a villain as opposed to like Red Skull because his legacy is trying to defeat Captain America from his grandfather in World War II, and we got Helmut Zemo nowadays.
So it's Hereditary, the Red Skull thing?
No,
No. This is Zemo.
This is,
Okay,
this is a
Zemo.
different
all right,
Nazi.
all right, gotcha.
There's been only one Red Skull, and before Secret Wars, my last favorite Marvel event was Axis.
Oh, when they switched, was that the one where they switched cases, like where the villains became heroes, heroes became villains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved how Magneto just killed Red Skull, and it was great. I thought
Yeah.
it was
I mean,
very
the
organic.
thing about Red Skull is that he took over Charles Xavier's brain
Yeah.
in the weirdest way, and he ended up with these abilities. He had these Onslaught armor, and Onslaught is probably a little bit more obscure thing. It's from like the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
With the whole crossover Heroes Were Born thing. But
I like how George is just
it's
like
like
everything.
over its head.
I'm doing my best here, guys. Like, the thing is like I'm noticing you guys are talking about villains that have done things and events and have killed certain people and have switched sides, and I'm like, this is all great, but like,
But going
How
back
far
to
does it go?
going back to like the Ironheart conversation, because we segued way
yeah,
too
that's
far
true.
left.
That's true. Yeah.
Because she came out during a time called Marvel Legacy, where they're trying to bring younger versions of of the heroes that we know and love. So we'll have newer readers to come in and stuff like that. And Ironheart was the first initiative really in that Marvel Legacy, because Tony Stark was in a coma.
Yeah, it was after Civil War II, right?
Yeah, Civil War II with Carol Danvers, who's now just Carol Danvers.
With Carol Danvers, who's Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I mean, she goes through so many name changes, you
Yeah.
know, with Captain Marvel,
Miss
Warbird.
Miss
and-
Marvel, she's the original Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
That poor girl has suffered so much from the hands of Marvel comic writers.
Oh my
Oh
God.
God, really?
And you're not currently reading anything Marvel right now, right?
Currently, no. I refuse to.
Because like the event coming next is another Infinity Wars, and
Infinity Wars.
exactly. And her storyline so far is the best one. Also with Darkhawk 2, which is a little bit more of an obscure cosmic character, but overall she's right now like my favorite superhero in the comic books right now.
And considering how they character assassinated her in Civil War II, where they just completely made her unlikable.
Oh no!
What's funny is in the lead up to Civil War II, she had some of the best character development when she was written by Kelly Sue DeConnick. And before that, even when Bendis was writing her in Guardians, he was doing pretty well with her. When she was in Guardians of the Galaxy, he was pretty good. Like, oh my God, you're likable. And then in Civil War II, none of that showed up.
She reverted back to her old self before the original Civil War, where she was just another hero.
Her old self, written by 90s, 80s, like super. What's the term that got chauvinistic guys? Like,
Oh God.
like it was just like, oh, this is not how you write a woman.
Oh no, it's so bad.
I mean, is this anywhere close to what's his face who did All Star Batman again?
Miller.
Miller.
oh my
How
God.
he wrote Wonder Woman. Do
went-
you remember that?
Yeah, step
I do.
aside, sperm bank.
What the hell was that?
That's just Miller.
You gotta lift your chest. Sorry,
Miller's gonna Miller.
Yeah, he's gonna mill
gonna
his
mill the-
career into the trash can.
I thought you already did.
And he's writing Superman. He's gonna start writing a Superman Year One story.
How many Superman comics is ongoing right now? Like 5?
Ongoing? There's actually they have their own editor. Also, Batman has his own editor,
I mean-
and Wonder Woman doesn't have her own editor because she only has one book.
Stand back, puny human.
What is it? There's Superman. There's New Superman. There's
Superman Year One.
That's gonna be a
There's
thing.
also Super Sons, if you're counting that.
Yeah.
Too.
There's
What about Superboy Prime?
Supergirl that she's going through a reprint. Then
Hate you, George.
I miss Primetime. I want him back.
Do you really?
A lot of people don't
I
like
love
him.
Do you really?
I love
Crisis
Superman.
on Infinite Earth was the last like big DC thing I read.
Yeah, and it was great.
It was awesome.
It was great.
It was great.
You hesitated.
I
Why
mean,
did you hesitate?
It was
Because
after
I'm
that,
having trouble breathing.
It was after that when some of the writers
sick.
decided
No,
to
I
make
get
some weird choices.
Yeah.
But Crisis on Infinite Earth was definitely the biggest like it's their equivalent to Infinity War.
Yeah. Are you talking about Crisis from 1986?
1986.
Okay, because they've done a couple crises.
Oh yeah, I mean there's been a crisis.
Crises.
I mean it's like
Crisis?
every 5 years is a crisis.
Yeah.
And I think there's gonna be another one too.
Yeah, but don't talk about reboots over there, bro. Because how many Marvel reboots has happened within 2 years?
4. I think.
No, it's 5.
5?
Oh my
Five.
God!
All
he was
new, all
so
different.
off.
All new. Wait, there was Legacy.
Could you imagine?
There was Legacy.
All new, all different. Heroic Age.
Wait. I
No,
thought-
Heroic Age was, you're right, 2013, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
bitch.
No, then you're right, it's 4.
Yeah.
So it's
I have
Legacy,
no idea.
Generations. What's the new one?
Right now they're at the
Michael
Refresh?
Bendis.
no,
Stop.
no.
Stop. You already know
It's like
he's gone.
It's more of a fresh start, I think.
yeah, fresh start.
Fresh start, because they're trying to.
Which is not a rebirth.
Did you hear what they did? They were trying to change some of Hank Pym's storyline. They're trying. You know how remember in like the 60s and 70s he hit his wife.
Okay, that was an
What?
that was an artist mistake, and they
was.
went with it. And they went with it. Hank Pym did not knowingly hit her.
Yeah,
They
but
just wanted that.
They're trying to rush it under the rug right now with the recent issue. They're like, it never happened.
No,
Because
well,
goddamn it didn't.
well, and I've heard
I'm
of
a
this
fucking
before
Pym
though.
fan.
Oh no,
all right?
me too.
All right,
I love
cool.
Ant-Man. Like Yellow Jacket.
When
like,
I watched-
Giant Man, Goliath.
When I watched Avengers: Age of Ultron, I wore an Ant-Man shirt, and
you
I
really?
said, "Yeah," and you on my Twitter, you'll see it, and I'm there, and everybody was like, "Oh, nice shirt," and I'm like, "Where the fuck is he?" Because he's the dad of Ultron, not Tony Stark. It's he creates
It was,
Ultron.
Ultron was literally Hank
Really?
Pym's biggest mistake.
Yeah, and it's his like the biggest crux of his character, which is the thing that pisses me the fuck off about Age of
Did
Ultron.
you hear
just
what's going
gave
on
it
with
a
Hank Pym now?
No.
He fused with Ultron.
Oh shit.
He fused
Yeah.
with Ultron. Ultron basically is now taking over the body of Hank Pym / Ultron, and now he has the Soul Stone.
Right, to create perfect cell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
pretty much.
But
We're gonna
Adam
have the
Warlock.
Ultron games.
wait. So they
I
really
don't
just
mind.
they cut off that entire backstory of Ultron and gave it to Tony Stark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tony
because-
Stark is the movie like face.
But he already. That seems weird to me because they imported his AI into Ultron. Is that not something that happens?
No,
in the
what
comic
happened
at all?
was,
Jarvis and all that shit.
Ultron was Brainwaves is slowly based off of Hank Pym, but his technology was based off of the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond. And Ultron then used that same technology to create a son, Vision, to fight against the Avengers.
Because
This makes way more sense than how the movies.
Yeah.
because
portray
also
this.
you have to understand that Ultron is purely logic. He's not James Spader spouting
with quips, And like sarcastic.
so dumb.
Yeah.
quips of Ultron. No,
I was so disappointed because Ultron's my favorite, like one of my favorite Marvel villains. He's such a big character, and they just ruined it.
He
for
was,
me, honestly, the best Ultron recently has been Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoons. That Ultron is actual Ultron versus James Spader's quips.
But you guys have noticed that it's just because Marvel, when they make the movies, they can't write another villain. They just write the same archetype and just give it a different name. It's sarcastic.
Not
over-
Zemo.
Not Zemo,
No, no, no.
not Vulture.
Movies, guys, the movies.
Yeah, we're talking about the movies.
Yeah.
Zemo's in the movie?
Zemo's in
In
Civil War.
War. You said movies, so we're going with all the villains in the movies.
In Civil War?
Yeah, you remember that?
Captain
Remember-
America, Civil War.
Oh, the human dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he barely did anything. He's just like
He broke the Avengers.
he didn't. Okay, if we're talking about the movie or the comic.
Yo, hold me back because I'm about to strangle
movie
your
or
boy
comic?
real quick.
Movie or comic?
We're talking movies.
Okay, in the movie, all he did was just say, "Oh, I have a plan to get them to argue with each other." That's all he did, not break them
Are
apart.
you
That was their
fucking-
own stupid
Are you
shit.
kidding me?
Where Tony Stark was like,
Were
"This
you
lady
there at the
guilted
UN
me."
attack? Were you there at the UN attack?
Yeah.
Because he had the face of Bucky Barnes, and he blew up the UN building, which causes a huge rift between Captain America and Iron Man. Because Captain America wanted to save Bucky or protect
Right,
Bucky.
I get you, and that's the process.
Captain
of
America
that.
was right.
Yes, you're right. You want to know why though? It's not just because Zemo made them fight each other, because they could have just investigated that and run with it. The reason why they didn't talk to each other and be like, "Oh, that's not the Winter Soldier. It might be a fake guy." They didn't do that because Tony was too busy getting guilt tripped by people. You should have stopped them before they destroyed everything. Like it's your fault that these aliens
Technically,
came
that
in.
woman was right. It's
Yeah.
She's
mostly
not right. That
every
lady,
disaster that has
There's
happened.
consequences.
It's
okay,
Tony.
but you know what? If the superheroes weren't there, they were still gonna be invaded anyway. So
No,
you know what?
because
At least
Tony
they had a
built
front line of
Ultron that
defense.
lifted Sokovia.
Yeah. And if we're talking about Avengers 1, it's technically Thor's fault.
Yeah.
If you're blaming the good guy for his relation to the bad guy, which it should be the bad guy who's being blamed, and there shouldn't be any blame on the
Actually,
superheroes
it-
trying to save them.
Actually, in one of the recent Marvel movies, I forgot which one, Vision actually made a comment. Actually, I think it was during Civil War, actually. They made a comment that ever since in 2008, Iron Man has outed himself as I am Iron Man, there's been a huge resurgence a surgeons of superhero archetypes.
Sure, but you know what?
'Cause
In
there's a
this
causality.
right? But in this universe where this shit happens, regardless of whether or not it's said out loud or whatever, it was gonna happen regardless.
Yeah.
The aliens were gonna invade, and why are we getting mad at the people trying to save us? You know what I mean? We're blaming them for the destruction of them.
And on that note, we're going to cut out. We'll see you in a little bit. And from one Disney property to another. All right. Now, as many of you might not know, George is no fan of Star Wars.
All right, if we're gonna get into this topic, this is how
I
it's
forced
gonna
them
go.
to watch both trilogies.
I don't know about forced is the word because look,
Are you forcing him to watch Disney Wars?
no.
No.
No,
Alright.
no, there's no forcing here. Look, man, I respect Star Wars as the property it is, as the biggest selling series almost of all time in movies.
It isn't. MCU beat it.
Oh,
By money-wise.
but money-wise,
But I'm
but
talking about, like, quote.
culture and
Oh.
and the amount of promotional shit and the amount of just the empire, funnily enough, that Star Wars created. I can respect that. Hence why I went into them to watch all of them, so I can have my own opinion instead of someone else's. Okay? And what I went when I went through these movies was I found maybe 3 good movies out of 6.
Batting average.
Yeah.
No,
No,
actually,
it's
I take
fine.
that back. 2 good movies out of 6.
Which were the two?
The good movies were episodes 5 and
4.
8.
8 New Last Jedi.
No, that you're counting Last Jedi?
Yeah,
I like Last Jedi.
Then you're counting 2 movies out of 8.
yeah.
If we're talking episodes, did you
Yes.
see Rogue One?
I said 2. There's
did,
2 episodes.
Did you see Rogue One?
Yes.
9. So 2 movies out of 9 for George. How about you? What's your favorites?
I have to go with New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. I actually don't mind Revenge of the Sith as much. I feel like out of the original,
do.
out of the prequel trilogy, that's the most Star Wars like. I do have some issues. I do have actually the entire of the Attack of the Clones I have issues with. And there's snippets of Phantom Menace that I like. They introduced Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn. I like the characters they introduced, but the story could have been improved.
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, right.
My
And,
favorite part is when they went
I actually
in there.
don't mind the Disney property movies at all, really. I didn't mind The Force Awakens. I liked Last Jedi because it was a huge divergent. And and also it has a huge connections with KOTOR 2, The Last Jedi, with Luke Skywalker's archetype character became, like, if you know KOTOR 2, you know what I'm talking about is Kreia, who was the master of Revan before he joined the Mandalorian Wars, and they both ended up with the same archetype. Like, the Jedi does not own the Force at all. The Force is, you know,
It was like a world concept, right? Like a universe-wide thing.
And just say that Jedi owns it is vanity. And honestly, it makes sense. Why does one group of people have to have the police over the Force? You don't have to be a Jedi to be a good person, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
I'd like to ask you, did you see Solo?
no, I haven't yet.
All right, real quick, before I ask you.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
What do you think about the Solo movie?
Overall, I find it enjoyable as a movie itself. Lore-wise, you know what? It makes sense.
Did my boy do good?
Chewie?
No, Donald Glover.
Oh.
Lando was one of the best parts of the movie.
I mean, you like bears.
That's true.
the thing will be covered in shit. There's no way to wipe.
Lando was young Lando, Childish Gambino was really good. He's one
Awesome.
of the best parts of the movie.
Which he was in for less than 5 minutes. I
No,
believe.
shut up, really?
he was in that movie for that long. He was there just to be that kind of, hey, I have a vehicle. Let's
How you get the Falcon.
yeah,
really?
that's all he was.
I thought he was a bigger player in the Solo movie.
he's bigger in the
Oh,
story
gee,
of
Han Solo movie is all about Han Solo. What were
yeah,
you thinking?
but you know what? If it was about him and his adventures, the ones that we talked about in the other movies, we think we'd see them,
problem with
right?
Lando is that he's not a huge impact on Solo's life till later on in his life as we get closer to A New Hope.
Why isn't the movie about that?
Because this takes place roughly around, I would say, I would say 10 years before the events of A New Hope. So this is way, way before we even get close to a lot of the more weirder adventures with Han Solo that was portrayed in the books from like 1977 to 1979.
But are they really counting that as like canon to write around, or are they just doing?
They
their own
actually,
thing?
Lando himself, Childish Gambino's character, actually referenced a lot of the stories, adventures that happened actually in a lot of those stories, which was 6 books, 3 Han, 3 Lando.
But tell me if I'm wrong here. But when I first heard that there
Yes.
was, when I first heard there was a Solo movie, I kind of had this expectation that they were going to go more into detail about the adventures that he had, that they talk about when he's talking to Lando. And then I'm being told that it's just some other thing before all of that. Then what's the purpose of having Lando?
I feel like there should be some mystery to the character. We should not know everything Han has done, like all his adventures or Lando. I feel like it should be open air and let to your imagination of what these characters have done in their lives.
We didn't need a Solo movie. No,
I'll be
agree.
honest, I don't think we needed a Solo movie or a Rogue One movie.
Dude,
I like
did
the
we need
original
to
idea
know-
of how they stole the Death Star plans.
Yeah, but did we need a 2-hour movie, which had like, admittedly, the best third act with Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
all on that beachhead.
Oh yeah, that was a cool scene. I'll give
Visually,
you that, yeah.
it should have been more of a World War II-esque style, Star Wars movie than, just a group of people who, are a little bit of forgettable.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Little.
They're so forgettable,
I
and
wanna
they
be nice
barely
to them.
have
They
like
tried.
a character, and they're never in danger until the plot says that they have to die, because they have to die at some point. So like that was my problem watching this. I know all these characters are gonna die, right? By the end of this.
Yeah.
And I know that they're not gonna kill them off before the second act. So at any point they're in danger, they're not actually in danger. And whenever the main character needs help from someone, she handles it herself. So it's
Honestly,
like-
for me, the best part of Rogue One is the 5 minutes of Darth Vader in that hallway.
That's what everyone says, but you know what? The movie wasn't that 5 minutes at the end.
No, it wasn't, but
feel-
it should have been.
I feel like
Yes, I agree.
the biggest problem with Rogue One was that in the beginning of a
Don't
new
choke on your aspirations.
the biggest problem with Rogue One issue that they had to face was how do we get Darth Vader onto the Tentative 4, the ship that Leia was on, and honestly, at the end they still had to force Darth Vader in the story.
Oh, I have a very good question now. Actually, now that you guys bring it up, all these movies trying to fill in the blanks of like areas in the story, how would you feel about after Disney's done doing 7, 8, and 9, they just go, screw it, this is making a shit ton of money, and we have the budget, the costumes, and everything, let's remake the first Star Wars, Episode 4.
No, because people are still asking for the remastered editions of the original theatrical cuts. If they do that, there'll be even more of a backlash. And right now,
Speaking of backlash,
speaking of backlash, there's a huge war between fans of Disney and Lucas, which one's the better ones. And honestly,
because nerds can never just agree on
Yeah, but
something.
why does one have to be better? Aren't
The
they
problem
trying to
is-
bring this different kind of thing?
Last Jedi broke the fan base.
it did.
I really liked
Me
Last
too.
Jedi.
And honestly, as a huge Star Wars
just
fan
thought it was
myself,
okay.
as a huge Star Wars fan myself, I've been going through this throughout my entire childhood and now. I feel like people are negative will always be louder than the positive, especially on the internet. And a lot of people don't look at the bigger picture that these are just movies,
Right,
They're
right.
just there for 2 hours, just have fun, enjoy yourself.
However, for some nerds, it isn't just a movie.
Oh, no, I
Well,
totally agree. It's a
it's
lifestyle.
they take ownership of that idea because it becomes something of their identity.
but at the
And
end
when
of
you
the
present
day,
and when you present a Luke Skywalker that loses more hope than Superman in Batman vs Superman, and he's the ideal and the man that believes that Darth Vader can be turned back to the good
Redeemed.
side, and then you have him trying to kill his nephew because he had a feeling that he might turn bad. You know, it
problem-
kind of ruins it for some fans. I'm just giving you counterpoints.
But, I mean, but they did.
I'm the only one here that thought the movie was okay at best, shit at worst.
But here's the thing, though. Because the thing is, Vinny and I, we do these things where if a movie's coming out, we'll watch all the previous movies beforehand. So I was
Respect.
going straight off of watching the original films.
You can't do that for Marvel, right? That's like 18 movies.
No,
I already did it,
Nah,
actually. I
well-
just finished doing it.
Yeah.
Well, some of them we do like Aliens and stuff like that when Covenant came out, and boy. But anyway, but my point, I was seeing all these events because they repeat themselves throughout the films. It's like poetry. It rhymes. You know what I mean?
Oh God.
So like I was like, oh man, I'm going into this new movie. The last one was a total rehash of episode 4. I mean, it wasn't a rehash. It was kind of like hitting the same beats while doing its own
It was
thing.
the greatest hits.
Sure, which is cool, but I was getting tired of them doing the same beats for nostalgia's sake. So when freaking The Last Jedi came out, destroyed all the expectations, and just started with a brand new kind of story, I was like, wow, how many movies did it take before we just started something freaking new?
Honestly, I totally agree what they did with Luke Skywalker too, because you see at the end of Return of the Jedi, he just threw away his lightsaber. You see he's taking the more pacifist route. He's done with fighting.
Yeah, and he shows that they established that, and that's why he's so hopeless, you know? Because
Like he doesn't want to fight. When he tells Rey, "We expect me to fight the First Order with a laser sword,"
to which he does.
to which he kind of does.
But that's the joke.
yeah.
I mean, it shows off how strong Luke is, but to just give us Luke back and then kill him.
Well, it was not.
And
It's
not,
like
not
someone
even
killed him.
train Rey, which everyone was expecting. See, yes, I get it. Last Jedi, we subvert expectations, but you also give me 15 minutes of bullshit in the casino.
Okay, that scene
Okay,
was
we'll
garbage.
all agree here that scene should have
was
been cut, and that
awful.
was just to pad out space because Finn and what's her
That was a
face
side
needed
quest.
something to do.
That was a Legend of Zelda style side quest.
that ultimately accomplished nothing, and I will 100% agree that anything with Benicio del Toro could be easily forgotten in The Last Jedi.
Okay, but
had
I like
potential.
Benicio del Toro.
Sure, no, he's a good actor. I'm just saying his character
Sicario?
didn't do shit. So
The what?
Sicario.
Yeah, Sicario.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Collector.
And I'll
That's
even
what I
give you
like
this Pose whole shit where it's like, we gotta do something, we gotta do something. Just listen to us. I'm gonna do something. We had a plan. Oh.
Yeah,
that's a
but
pretty
never told you the plan.
Yeah, that's a pretty shitty arc. I will definitely give
Yeah.
you that. But the fact,
Oh, and the very beginning where these rebel ships are literally made of paper mache, where we've seen in the original trilogy and, well, you can make an argument for the prequels, the Republic ships, because basically rebel ships are like mock
Yeah,
Republic
they're
ships.
pretty much reestablished Republic ships that they just kind of had to fix because
They can like stand a couple laser blasts, but apparently a dreadnought that we've seen before can barely, not barely, but like these ships can hold their own. They do have shields, but no, it went through like paper mache
yeah.
or radits.
is no one mentioning
Raditz.
that in the beginning of that movie they were showing the ships dropping bombs on the Dreadnought?
Yeah.
There's no gravity in space. How are you dropping bombs?
Also,
There's no
how
air and spray.
slow? How slow are they? Where are my Y wings? What happened to Y wings?
Y-Wings is actually super old technology, lore-based. They actually were first established during the Clone Wars. And because the technology of the Y-Wings were so old by the time that the, 60 years later when the sequel trilogy events are happening, they're just pretty much defunct it.
I see.
I mean, I believe the fans are calling the new Star Wars Disney Wars. Like they just call them that.
That's fine if you want to organize it. Whatever.
Let's organize it and say Disney Wars, except for a
But
sequel.
again, before I leave off of Last Jedi, I'm just saying the fact that we're subverting the Emperor Snoke. I was expecting a giant trope from him. They cut that shit out. I was expecting a giant. Oh, she's actually connected to Skywalker and da da da, and they cut that shit out with revealing her parents. Like,
Which
or
sucked.
Not.
No, I don't mind.
I don't mind that. I mean, yeah, I feel like they could have had a better answer. But
I
like
kind
it
of
better
wanted
than
her to
anything
be
else.
related to Kenobi.
A lot of people
No,
said that. A lot of people said that, but they lost the point of Star Wars. Star Wars was originally about anybody could be a hero.
Yeah,
we
it's
got
not
a
just
farm boy
Skywalkers.
from a farm boy from a
get
desert
that.
planet.
I get that. I'm just saying she immediately becomes like this super mega ultra powerful Super
She
Saiyan.
can-
And Luke
why can't
isn't?
she- but why can't
Luke
she just
isn't.
be?
He's a
How
dark-
long did it take for Luke?
He learned. He did a dark side ability,
Guys.
at Return of the Jedi, and nobody talked about that.
But why do you need to be a Skywalker to be that powerful?
Hold on. Well, because they're the prodigy, the prophecy, or whatever. The one to
Actually,
bring balance to the force.
there other
Canonically, in the books and stuff like that, the cosmic force does chose a champion, and they're the ones that brings balance to the force.
But every
Since
movie.
Luke cut himself off from the force, they had to find a new one, which was Rey.
But this whole thing of hereditary, it's always hereditary. It's the son of, it's the daughter of, it's related to. It's
I was
the
kinda hoping
gene
to do
Dude,
it.
Star Wars is basically a samurai tale.
It's actually a coming of age like Knights King Arthur kind of.
That too. That
Actually,
too.
there's different interpretations. You're both correct. You're both correct.
I would doubt that actually.
Because the Jedi are basically like samurai Ronins and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they originally
they're
were, but
wandering
they
warriors.
became monks.
Yeah.
They're monks though.
And then they
They're- yeah.
became knights because they had a round table in the council.
'Cause samurais were
we
military.
recognize you at this table, but we do not give you the title of master yet.
But when do? I want to be
so-
a master.
I'm so mad at the Jedi Council. They make no sense to me.
Yes,
That's the point. That's technically the point. The point
They're hypocritical.
The point during the Clone Wars era is
That doesn't make a good film.
The point of the Clone Wars era Jedi Council is that they lost their way. They became super political. They want to make sure they control everything, and hence why they need to be ended. Bring balance back to the Force.
Okay.
And we're going to end it here. We'll be right back after these words.
Oh, jeez. My favorite Facebook page is Fan Freaks. Everyone should subscribe to it.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains,
So,
That place sucks.
Vinny and I are going to take a trip to West Virginia in November, right?
You should actually visit my settlement when we are you getting it for a PC or a console?
PS4.
Oh, really? I'm actually getting it for a PC, but I was thinking if I liked it enough, I'll probably pick it up for PS4.
Now, Fallout 76. And George liked making this joke.
We're gonna make this joke for a third time on the podcast.
Do it.
On the podcast. Wow, Fallout 76. That sure is a jump from 4. Ha ha.
I also really hated 4.
Oh, are you kidding me? I told George about my huge complaints about Fallout 4. It was a huge divergent. They lost a lot of things with me.
Where was my dialogue options?
Where was where was their broken weapons and stuff like that? I missed the repairing.
No, the dialogue options was my sourest spot because you had 3 now. It was either
4.
good, bad, or passive.
You had 4, but one was like sarcastic or whatever.
Yeah.
It was never anything truly evil or truly good.
And you never know what you're gonna say, so it ended up being the same thing every button.
Yeah, because it didn't really open up channels in the conversation like the other ones did. You know what I mean?
No.
It just kind of regulated them all.
I got a question for you. Do you prefer New Vegas or 3?
New Vegas.
3. I love 3.
And I'm in between. I like both.
Okay, here's my thing. If you're asking personal preference, favoritism, 3 because New Vegas gave me a game-breaking bug, and I got really upset, and
Wait, whoa. Bethesda having a bug?
it was actually Obsidian, but all right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris
shit.
Avalon.
What do I know?
I actually like Chris Avalon writing. Like,
No, I think New Vegas objectively has better quests and a better story, but 3 is my favorite because that brought me into that world. I hate RTS. and
Really?
I do.
Wow.
So I fell in love with the first-person shooter aspect of it, and I thought it was great. First person, third person.
I like New Vegas as a sequel to 1 and 2, but I like 3 as a standalone story on its own.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more. I feel like I got a lot more out of it with the whole father and son story. Science.
Yeah.
It was a huge.
Not only that, Liam Neeson voicing the father.
He
Are
was
you
your
kidding me?
dad.
Yeah, right.
You were finally taken. You were the taken
Well, your
one.
dad was taken.
Oh, shit.
But overall, New Vegas was a pretty good sequel to Fallout 1 and 2. Even though technically Fallout New Vegas was originally the Fallout 3
Yeah.
before Bethesda bought it. Because it was originally called Project Van Buren. And I actually have the demo of Project Van Buren on my laptop.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
we should probably jump into 76 and the news on it. So, Adrian?
So here's what I understand. It will always be online. The solo parts are the Radiant quests. Other than that, you'll see other people in your world, but other than that,
Whoa. Someone needs to tell me what this game is. I didn't do any research on
Okay,
it.
it's an MMO.
What? That's what no one told me this. I thought it was still the first person thing that my buddy
It's
Vinny
still
here was
first
telling me.
person, but
It's first person, third person as usual. There is quests to be had, but there will not be other people. There will not be other human NPC.
Yeah, there will of course there will be ghouls. There will be. I actually just recently heard a rumor early today that we're going to see some Chinese remnants throughout West Virginia, which
Nice.
I think will play a huge part since we're 20 years directly after the Great War.
How do you have an MMO with no NPCs?
I'll be your NPC.
The NPCs will be robots, and they'll give you the quests.
Yeah, because this is 20 years after the war, so there's no factions or anything.
But there's no people either?
Yeah, but they'll be raiders.
Yeah,
They'll be raiders, and unfortunately, this is the thing I really want to talk to you about: super mutants. This is super lore breaking.
Okay, so very much so. Technically, throughout this time, super mutants were supposed to be only in Mariposa Air Base or at
Mariposa.
Vault 87. There's no reason why these things are quickly created in West Virginia, which rumor has it was the reason why it's all green and lush is because China didn't care for West Virginia, so they didn't bomb it as much.
I'm still wrapping my head around this being an MMO. Like, so the combat is... It's going to be like Elder Scrolls Online then, I'm guessing.
There's still going to be
Tamriel
VATs
Unlimited?
and stuff like that, but
No VATs.
No, there will be, but it's not going to slow you down. It's going to be real time.
Oh, I thought they said no VATs.
Oh, there will be.
Okay.
I mean, that... I feel
Which I
like you're
think-
radically changing the gameplay here. To
They
the
are a
point
bit.
where it's like something different.
But
They are a bit.
ultimately, at the end of the day, the Wasteland is about survival. And it makes sense to have a group of friends just,
It was the next logical step.
creating a community, which I think was the big push with Fallout 4 with the settlement system.
And also the shelter.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Fallout
so,
Shelter,
so
yeah.
Fallout 76 is trying to be like the climax of community with everybody in the Wasteland trying to help each other out or just nuke each other.
But you guys don't see
Yeah, I'm very excited to nuke
the
somebody.
clash of tone here? Where, like, Fallout... I mean, granted, correct me if I'm wrong here, but
You're
isn't-
wrong.
Thank you for that twice now. The desolation of the wasteland and how it's
Yeah,
no
lone
man's
survivor,
land,
soul survivor, lone wanderer.
then having everyone wandering it like an MMO. Like, do you not see how that clashes kind of
There
hard?
is actually a petition right now where people are signing to put a single player mode in the game. It's called "Keep the lone survivor alone."
Well, that'd be cool. I mean, the thing is, if there's no NPCs and it's just kind of like robots just handing out quests, did you guys not think there was much more to Fallout than just quests?
Well, that's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue because we're still left in the dark with a lot of information.
Does it still play like Elder Scrolls that you can pick stuff up off the
Yeah,
walls?
no,
and stuff?
gameplay wise it'll still be similar and graphically same as Fallout 4. The thing is they started working on Fallout 76 right at the same time as creating Fallout 4.
Okay.
Originally they wanted a multiplayer mode for Fallout 4 because
That's what this sounds like, by the way.
and
But yeah.
then they realized it should be a separate game where it's just in a bigger world and everybody's just hanging out at the wasteland.
This probably explains why Fallout 4 had such a shit dialogue system.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does.
Oh, yeah, kind of.
Because they put all their efforts, like they had like a split team. Like, you go over there, you guys go over here.
But you guys have played MMOs before. You know how there's a
Yeah.
progression system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a progression system in Fallout.
I
there's
think-
no mounts. There's no real armor sets beyond power armors. And if there's no factions, then
I think that's what
are
they're
we
doing. I think that's
No,
what they're
you're
doing with the
making a
weapons.
faction.
Yeah,
That's
you're
how
making,
I take it.
Yeah, you're making a because the factions haven't showed up in the world yet. Factions like the earliest factions in the Fallout games was Shady Sands, the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Enclave. They didn't show up to the world till around almost 100 years after the Great War.
Okay, so this is kind of like if you had your own group, and this is like the creation of all those groups. You had your own fan one or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I just when you guys tell me it's MMO, that's a harsh change from
It
the Elder
is, it
Scrolls
is.
kind
And
of
there's still-
deep, detailed gameplay. Yeah.
There is, and honestly, I think the huge thing with the progression is who will have the bigger gun. Because at the end of the day,
It'll be me.
At the end of the day, you could gain nuclear launch codes, and you could fire actual atom bombs at people.
I'm sorry, can you say nuclear one more time?
Nuclear.
Okay.
Nuclear mode.
Why did I say that funny again?
Yeah. I heard nuclear.
Nuclear.
But guys, that's great and all, and I don't want to detract from how cool that is.
Stop detracting.
But I can't, man. I fucking can't. What's the ultimate end game here? With nuking someone, what's the response?
Because you could gain resources after nuking.
Yeah, that's how nukes usually work.
Yeah,
You invade them.
That's
like
what-
if this other faction over here are your rivals, and they are amassing a lot of people, a lot more people than you are,
Nuke 'em.
Get a nuke or do a mutually assured destruction type of thing. I have a nuke, you have a nuke. Don't test me, fool.
This is feeling like the Metal Gear Solid 5 FOB missions, and I hated those.
Yeah, it was basically that, but I assume it'll be better.
Yeah.
Assume.
I hope so.
All I care about is that I bought the collector's edition for my my power
God,
armor.
I wish I had that money for that. But then again, I would be really sad if I just had the helmet and not the full armor.
Yeah, but that's where cosplay comes into play.
That's true.
Get that cardboard out.
You'll have a really nice looking helmet, but then you have like a paper mache armor.
Wouldn't that be great? Like just walk around being like, "What's up?"
Just be the one soldier that was late to wars, have his helmet on, and you're in your underwear. Oh gosh,
You know what
I gotta go.
You could have the helmet on, like in Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Have the helmet on and wear a sexy lingerie.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was going for.
It's the funniest thing ever. You know what? That actually makes more sense.
Okay.
Done. Now, George.
Yeah.
You don't like Fallout.
Why do you just imply that I
you're a
don't like
negative Nancy.
things? No, just because
You are a Nancy.
No, I'm not. Shut up.
It's all right. I'm an Amanda.
Anyway,
Because I need Amanda.
just because I critique things doesn't mean I don't like it. Okay?
What I think George is just he doesn't he George is more of a horror guy, and honestly,
Are you talking about? Come on, man. The Dunwich building.
that was you know what, that's one of the best side quests
Yes.
ever in Fallout.
I think I actually remember this one. It's in a school, no?
No, it's in a like an office building, and there's
It's all Lovecraftian.
yeah, and you follow these terminals, and you notice like weird shit is happening throughout the building, and there's creaks and stuff like that, and
ghouls just come at you on
Yeah.
occasion.
Okay.
But there's the underlying story of the Dunwich building situation where like this
Dunwich,
guy,
huh?
it was like one floor of the building, this guy literally killed all his coworkers right before the Great War, like the bombing started.
Okay. Well,
Like-
I need to play that.
Because at the very
mission.
bottom of
That
the
was
Dunwich
free.
building, there's a satanic ritual.
Oh,
in the
they kind
very-
of tried doing something like that in 4 with the murderer.
Yeah.
Which I loved. That was also really a good side quest.
So, yeah. But to answer your question, no, I don't hate Fallout.
Okay.
But continue
Are
with what
you
you're saying.
interested in 76?
Now that I know it's an MMORPG, I'm even less interested because I cannot.
Why not play
stand-
with Vinny?
Because
thought
I
we were
can't.
friends.
We are.
Yeah.
I don't
Immediately when I found out it was a multiplayer, like me and my bro were watching the Bethesda conference, we immediately messaged each other and said, "You're getting it? I'm getting it. Yeah, let's nuke shit
It's a
up."
personal preference with me. It's just the pacing of MMOs are always so grindingly slow that I just lose interest
Well,
within a.
we're saying it's an MMO, but they're saying it's dedicated servers and it's only a dozen to a server or something like
Yeah,
that.
we're using MMO as just saying this multiplayer inside this RPG.
Yeah, but it's always online and.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a-
Todd Howard said in an interview, like after the game launched, they will be releasing private servers.
Okay, well at least they got that. I'm just saying, like I liked it more when it was its own contained story.
Oh, definitely. Like
Like-
the characters I create are my characters with their own personal story that is separate from the game story.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I recently finally made a character I was happy with in Fallout 4.
I was happy with mine. It's Ripley all day long.
I made mine like an offshoot of Bruce Banner, kind of, since this whole deal with radiation. And throughout the game, I use the player commands on PC to make my character a little bit more green as time goes on.
Nice.
Feel that radiation, actually see it.
It burns.
Now I think we're gonna call it a day on this.
Okay. I just really quick, if I may.
Go ahead.
We didn't get to talk about it real quick on the Star Wars thing, and we'll definitely go into more detail in another time because I know we're going to cut this off real quick. But for everyone who's wondering the reasons why I find Star Wars a little strange,
I won't interrupt.
Yeah, it's for. Well, feel free to react. I'm not going to feel bad for that. The first thing is that the Mandarins are Mary Sue's. It seems like every single time.
Mandalorians, actually.
Yeah, Mandalorians. Thank you. I
Yeah,
wrote
mandarins are.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's a fruit. Yeah, no, they're very Mary Sue. They're always the warriors, and they're so strong, and they were able to hold off the Sith. They were the one planet
Actually,
that
hold
could
off
take
the
it back.
Jedi. They didn't really fight the Sith. They joined the Sith.
Right. Okay. Forgive me. But I hear
I'm
what
just
you're
helping
saying.
you out, bro.
No, I hear you for sure. I'm just saying, like, they were the one planet that was defiant enough. Anyway, unoriginal characters to the point where they're kind of written on cliches alone, and just expounded in that way. Jedi's have super speed, and they never use it.
Also, Leia has force flight, and she looked like Mary Poppins flying.
That
That
through
was
space.
one of the issues I had.
It wasn't an issue as it was just what? Okay,
I
It
feel
was,
like- I feel like
it
with
was
the-
honestly the dumbest scene I've seen.
I
in
feel like with the
cinema.
passing of Carrie Fisher, they should have just ended off her story with that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
everyone agrees. In fact, I will say Last Jedi wasn't a fantastic movie because there's a lot of problems with it, but I respect that they did something different.
They had the balls to try.
Exactly.
That's why I'm excited about Ryan Johnson's new Star Wars trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah, it
and
won't
then-
have any Skywalkers because they're all dead.
Thank you, Jesus.
You're
anyway,
welcome.
Because my next topic is whiny Luke. In the original trilogy,
But I was
Luke
going
is
to
so
go down to the
whiny.
Tossie station
He's
and pick up
such a,
power converters.
he's such a
Dude, he was
bitch.
shooting wombats with his E-17.
Like I get why he is though, because he's immature. It's the whole point. He needs to grow
up.
into the character he needs to be. But goddamn, man, he's just like, well, I don't want to do that. Nice to meet you, C-3PO. Like sarcastic. Like, dude, just fucking get over yourself.
He's just a punk kid.
Anyway,
he's like
good,
his father.
Good character, but just not wholly original in my opinion.
I think this is where we should call the pot call
And
him
the
Kettle
Ewoks.
Black, considering how George is pretty whiny.
Hey man, but I'm a real person. I have depth to my wine.
Are you
to
sure
my
you're
wine.
a real person?
I got cheese in my wine. But the last thing is Ewoks, and I don't
I
even
find
think
your lack of faith disturbing.
You could go right to hell.
I find your lack of substance disturbing. Anyway,
You're talking about Darth Vader and substance.
yes.
You're saying Darth Vader lacks substance.
Oh, actually, the contrary. He has too much.
Oh, okay.
I agree to that. He does. He does have too much going on, especially in the comic book, Marvel Comics, Darth Vader.
It's just so muddled, dude. It's like
he needs a day off.
either he is a general in the stormtrooper army, like the World War II reference it's supposed to be, like, you know, where it's the Nazis and he's supposed to be like a Gestapo guy, or he's this Jesus figure that started the Force, and he's got too much shit going on for who's supposed to be just a general who's Luke's father.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Love you guys.
I think we're going to end it here. Vinny, I want to say thank you for coming on. George, thank you for bringing him.
Thank
Hey.
you for having me. Definitely.
No, I've been meaning to do it forever, so thank you, Vinny, finally.
And I hope you come again.
Oh, definitely. Anytime.
Thank you. Come again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.